Let's be honest, Microsoft is always holding out on us. You know how you fight with Windows every day? Well, there's a set of free official tools they've made that fixes a lot of the struggle. They don't tell anyone about them. So today we're diving into Powertoys. I'm going to show you how to get them and then set up my absolute favorite feature, Fancy Zones. It lets you set up these invisible zones on your screen. So every time you open an app, it just perfectly snaps into position. No more dragging windows about like a caveman. And that's just the start. Later, I'll reveal one tool that feels like it breaks the laws of physics, letting you control multiple computers with a single mouse and keyboard, but without any extra cables or hardware. This one feature will fundamentally change your workflow forever. So now you've installed Powertoys, you need to run the program. To do that, click on the Start button and just start typing in Powertoys. It should appear. There we go. Powertoys. Click on that, and it will load up. You'll first see this dashboard that appears, and these are the Powertoys that you've got enabled and disabled, of course, because you've run it for the first time. All your modules, they call them, are going to be disabled, and you need to toggle the ones that you want to use on and off. Now there's a lot here and it can be quite overwhelming, so I'm going to take you through my favorite ones, the ones that I currently use and ones that I might have used in the past but I don't use anymore just because I haven't got a need for them. Doesn't mean they're useless, it just means they're not ones that suit me. This is all about productivity and using the right Powertoys. They're going to help you use your computer better than you're currently using it. To make it easier, I'm going to click on Welcome to Powertoys in the bottom left hand corner and go through it on this list. This list highlights all the Powertoys that are available, and it also gives you a description of what they do. Fancy Zones. I love this one. This is the best Powertoy. I probably shouldn't have stuck this in the middle of the video. Depending on where the editor decides to place it, it might actually be at the end of the video, so I kind of screwed up the continuity if he's done that. Fancy Zones, absolutely love it. Fancy Zones allows you to set where applications open on your screen. So I've got a wide screen here. That's probably why the aspect ratio is a bit weird on this video, because I need to capture the whole screen for you. And with this, you can, let me just show you, that's going to be easier. So first off, click Open Settings, and then click on the On to enable it. You've got your activation shortcut, and you've also got the launch editor. I'm just going to click the button rather than doing the activation shortcut. As you can see, my screen has now got these grey squares all over it. It's also got some templated layouts here. These are ones that come with it. Wherever you see this, what it's outlining is where the windows will open. So in this case, you'll have 3 columns. So you'll have 3 columns where your programs will open. Then you've got the grid format and the priority grid. I've actually made my own because I quite like the priority grid layout, but I wanted to have 2 extra on the right hand side. To do this, all I did was create a new layout, and then you just drag and drop the grey zones on the screen where you want windows to appear. So let me show you how that works in real life. So let me just close this. Let me minimize these windows, and let's start opening some windows. So I've got my YouTube Music. I use YouTube Music all the time, so I had that open in the bottom right hand corner, so I can get to my music quickly and listen to it. I normally have my cameras in the top right hand corner, so I can see if people are at the doorbell and all that kind of stuff. In the middle though, I do have my browser normally all the time, and as you can see, it's still got that amazing page on there about subscribing and liking videos that you watch on YouTube. And then down the left hand side, in this last gap here, I normally have my Gemini browser, or I mean my AI, whatever AI I'm using at the moment, which is currently Gemini. I'll have that down the left hand side, and you can easily rearrange these. So if I click and hold the shift button, I can move Gemini into the middle. You can see how it's highlighting the zones. I can move in the top right hand corner and let go, and then if I close Gemini, and then if I then reopen it, you'll see that it will remember and it goes back into that place rather than where it was originally. So yes, just shift and drag around and let go, and you can do that to any program. You can put programs on top of programs, and they'll always open in those zones you've set up. So it's an amazingly great productivity tool because you know exactly where things are going to open. They're not going to be randomly all over the place. I highly recommend turning that Powertoy functionality on. It is superb. It's better than the Windows snap that you see when you drag a window to the top, because with these you can't actually customize where they go, but with Powertoys you can. So it kind of replaces this Windows snap at the top of the screen, and it lets you stick things where you want them to be. The next one is Always on Top, and this is one that I love and I do use. I generally use this at the weekends when there's a Formula 1 race on and I'm working on my computer and I want to see the Formula 1 race all the time, and I don't want it to disappear behind windows when I've got many windows open. So let me show you how this works. So first off, if there's one you like and you're using this list on the left hand side, click on Open Settings, and this is where you enable that Powertoy. So you just got to toggle it on. Some Powertoys require a restart on your computer, and if it requires a restart, you'll need to do that before you can use it. So just toggle it on, and then you can do some customizations on all Powertoys. So you can change the activation shortcut. On this one, you can change the colors because this puts a border around, so you know that that window is locked on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just minimize this window temporarily, and I'm going to enable it on this window, so this window always stays on top. So this is what I do on the video feed from the Sky Sports website. I enable it on by pressing the Windows Control T button, With Sky Sport, they detect if you've got screenshot software enabled, and the Windows snipping tool keyboard command is one button different to this one. So there's been a few times where I've enabled that, and then the stream that I'm watching has been cut off by Sky Sports because they think I'm trying to pirate it by taking a screenshot, when actually I'm just trying to keep it on top. But now I've enabled it on this screen. You can see it's got a border around here. You can actually change the color of the border you want. I've got it as Windows default, so it goes with my theme, but you can select the custom color and its width. But this window will now always stay on top. So say if I open another window, let me open my browser. I probably don't want that to stay on top because actually what it's showing is really handy. So if you are liking the video, you know what to do. But as you can see, this window will always stay on top of whatever's behind it. So even if I click on this behind, this window will always stay on top. So it's ideal for video feeds, as I said. So if you've got a video feed that you really want to watch and you want it to stay on top of all your windows, this feature is absolutely fantastic. I recommend turning this on and just having it there, because you never know when you've got a window that you want to keep on view. Just going to disable it now so I can continue with the rest of the video without this being on top of everything. There we go, Windows Control T, and that's now disabled. So we go back to the welcome page. The next one down here is called Awake. All this does is it makes sure that your computer stays on all the time, no matter what your power settings are. Very handy if you're running a process on your computer, and it's vital that it does not go to sleep. The next one's great for designers. It's called Color Picker. And with Color Picker, all you need to do, I think I've got this enabled. I haven't used it a lot, but I think I'll get enabled mainly because I forget. That's the problem with these Powertoys. You forget you've got them. So you've got to kind of teach yourself to remember you've got them there. So Windows Shift C, I have got it enabled. And as you can see, as I move the mouse around the screen, it will just tell me the hex color codes for that color. You'll also see on here, it also shows you the RGB and hex once you go into the actual program. If I launch the Color Picker and then pick here, you'll see whatever color I click on, that will then open and it will show me the color that was there and the codes so that I can put them into other programs, maybe Photoshop or Canva or something like that. Easy way to get hold of the colors that are visible on screen. I do need to remember to use that one though, because I do a lot of stuff in Canva, but I completely and utterly forget about that. The next option is Command Palette, it's called. And this is, if you've moved from a Mac to Windows, or you're normally on a Mac and you're using a Windows machine, this is Spotlight for you. Again, got to remember the command code. So it's Windows Alt Space on here. And it brings up this search box on your desktop. Let me just minimize this stuff to make it a bit easier to see. There you go. All we got to do is just type in whatever you want. So if you want to start a program, just type in the name of the program, it'll find it, hit enter. Google Chrome in this case will load up. So if you use this as a way to switch between programs on your computer, if you're on a Mac, you can now do it on a Windows machine. I'm not quite sure why this isn't built into Windows. Actually, with all these Powertoys, I'm not quite sure why they're not just built into Windows, because they're amazing. They have so much functionality that people will just love. And for some reason, Microsoft separates them, doesn't tell anyone about them, and you've got to watch videos like mine to find out about them. Next one is Crop and Lock. I'll be quite honest with you, I really I don't understand this one or why it's there. I'm going to read the description out for you. It says Crop and Lock allows you to crop a current application into a smaller window or just create a thumbnail. Focus on the target window and press the shortcut key to start cropping. So it does that. It does what it's showing out in that video up there. I don't have much to say about it, as you can probably tell. You can essentially, it seems like, make a smaller copy of an application. I've not played with it. Have a go. Tell me in the comments what it's like if you've used that one and what you use it for, because I can't see any reason for it. And the next one is a thing called File Locksmith. This tool is really useful if you're trying to move. We've all had it on Windows where you've got a program file that you want to, or any file that you want to move from one location to another, but you can't because it's opened in a program somewhere and you don't know which program's got it opened and why you can't move it. With this, it allows you to right click on the file and you can essentially end task. That just basically means that whatever program is holding onto this file will release it, and it's no longer being used by that program, and you can move your file from one location to the other without a warning box saying that you can't. So that is handy. The File Explorer Add On. This is quite a nice tool actually. In File Explorer, if I open File Explorer here, you can have a preview playing down the right hand side which just shows you things that you've got open. Let me just go into the downloads folder and let's just click on here. So I click on preview and click on this image. I can see the image anyway, but you know, it shows you on the right hand side. What this does, it gives you a bit more support for different types of file formats. So for example, it does it on text files as well now. So that's one of the things that adds to it. So it adds the text file. So rather than open the file, I can see it in the preview pane. And I also know it does it for PDFs. I can't really open those PDFs because those PDFs have got confidential information on them because they're invoices. But if you have got a PDF, that's me carting by the way, but if you have got a PDF file, it will open on the right hand side there. Will it do it for Word documents? Doesn't do it for Word documents, which is kind of ironic considering Microsoft makes them. But yeah, it gives you a bit more functionality on that preview window, so you down the side, so you can see stuff. The next one is Host File Editor. Now this is really for people who want to control what websites their computer can access. So normally IT admins and stuff like that, or the UK government sometimes wants to control that for you as well. But if you'd like to decide what websites you can and can't access, maybe you've got kids in the house, you could use the Host Files Editor, and you can just essentially add the web addresses that you do not want your children to access on your computer. And this is kind of like a hard lock. Unless they know about the host files and can edit it themselves, they'll have no idea why they can't access the website. It literally just will not load. It'll just come up with some error message and you won't be able to go onto that website. Image Resizer. This is handy actually. This just allows you to quickly resize images on your computer. Let's just open the settings so I can show you how this works. I have got it enabled, but again, it's another thing that I've forgotten about. But I guess it's handy if you're posting a lot, say on social media, maybe Instagram or something like that, and you want to do it in a certain size. You can actually set up presets, so you can set up the preset pixels by their height and width. When you right click on a JPEG, let me go into that downloads folder and see if we've got anything that I can click on that won't be revealing private information. Let's just do this one. So let's right click on this, and if you go down here you can see I've got the option now to resize with Image Resizer. If I click on that, I can then just pick the size I want. Let's go with small, just because that's the one it's offering. I think the image is quite small to start off with, so we'll just hit resize, and I think that's resized the image and probably stuck it at the top here now, the new one. So that's apparently smaller than what it was before. But yeah, it's a great way just to quickly resize images that you want to share in a certain size to other people or other services. So we're back on the welcome page, and the next one down is Keyboard Manager. Not one that I've used, but it says Keyboard Manager allows you to customize the keyboard to be more productive by remapping keys in your current. So basically, if you've got a keyboard that's got the keys in the wrong place, or maybe it's more likely your language settings don't match up with the keys on the keyboard, this is just a quick way to allow you to remap how those keys work and put different functionalities into them. It's showing a bit on here in this image here. I don't use it because my keyboard is how I want it and it matches the language settings of my computer, so I've got no need for that. But if you've got a weird keyboard, there you go, Keyboard Mapper is going to help you out. Next one is mouse utilities, and I do actually use this one. I can't actually show you on the video because I don't think it captures it, but I use the Find My Mouse functionality all the time. It's actually showing you here in this quiet video. Yeah, everyone's on a computer, sometimes you just lose your mouse cursor. It's like, where's it gone? It's on the screen and you just can't see it. So I have Find My Mouse turned on, and when I shake my mouse, I don't think it's going to show you this on the video, but what it does, it puts highlights it in a white orb around it and darkens the rest of the screen. Just like the image up here and the video previously. It's the only functionality I use out of there, but you've got a few others like Enable Mouse Highlighter, which will just put an orb around the mouse the whole time. Enable Mouse Jump, quickly move the mouse pointer long distances. I don't need that because it scrolls just how I want it to do. And you can change the mouse pointer into crosshairs, which I know is handy for people who have accessibility needs. But this top one, Find My Mouse, so handy. So handy, just being able to find your mouse by shaking it like it's trying to show you on this video up here. Very handy, and I recommend turning that one on. The next one down is New Plus. Okay, so this is one I don't use, but I've just quickly read it. Create files and folders from a personalized set of templates. So say if you've got a file structure that you have for, maybe you've got new clients in your company and you have a file structure for each client where you keep their data. This essentially builds a template for you and you can just create them really quickly. So if you do that a lot, it's worth using this feature. Peek is handy, and I have used Peek in the past. So Peek is a bit like Preview that I showed you earlier in File Explorer, but rather than it doing it in that small preview window down the right hand side, if I can speak properly, with this one, once you've got it enabled, you press Control and Space together, click on the file just once, and it just opens it in this small window, so you can easily find it. By the way, those 18 Gmail tricks that's popped up here is actually the video that came out last week. So if you want to find out about Gmail tricks, because you love this video so much, you can go and watch that as well. So yeah, as I said, just hold, what was it? This is the problem, I can't remember the commands. It's Control and Spacebar, and then just click on something or hover your mouse over it and it will show you. You only got to press it once, don't hold it down. So when you hold it down, it does all this blurry nonsense. Actually, it seems like it might be a bit buggy, that one. But handy if you do need to and need to see a preview quickly and you don't want to use this preview down the right hand side. PowerRename, this is good. I have used it in the past, but it's just a quick way of renaming lots of files in one go into an organized structure. So you might want to have a date, a place and things like that. You can use that with PowerRename. So very handy for photographers actually. We had a client who was a surveyor, so he went around people's houses and took lots of photos, and he needed better names than what the camera gave it. So he actually used this PowerRename to be able to rename all these files in one mass go in a file name structure that he wanted to use. So if you do that a lot, this is a useful tool to use. Next one is one called PowerToys Run. It's just a way of running programs. Again, it's very much like the Spotlight functionality. I don't use this, but essentially if you've got programs that can run in different modes, you can start typing their names in and it will give you all the modes that you can possibly run that program in. Might be useful for you. If you do use it, let me know in the comments. We then got Quick Ascent, which is apparently Quick Ascent is an easy way to write letters with accent. Quick Accent, why am I saying accent is accents? Quick accents, Jesus. So yeah, if you live in a country where you use these accents on top of your letters, this is the tool for you. As you can see in the screen here, when they're typing in PowerToys here, it just comes up quickly and you can pick all the weird and wonderful accents that you stick on your words. We don't do that in English. English is quite very boring. We don't have any of that cool stuff. Thankfully, actually, because it'd be a bit of a pain remembering them all or typing them in. I'd have to use a special tool to use them. But there you go. You've got a special tool that you can use. Registry Preview. Again, this is really if you're going deep into your computer. If you mess around with your registry too much, your computer might die, so don't bother using this one unless you know what you're doing. But it's just a little utility that lets you visualize and edit your Windows registry files with ease. But again, if you're messing around with the registry, you need to know what you're doing. The next one is a screen ruler, and it's just a way to measure between items on your screen. I don't use it, but in the video you can see here, you can just, I think you can just click and drag. Let's try it out, shall we? Let's open it, because I'm good like that. Let's do Windows Shift M. Windows Shift M, and there we've got this measuring tool on here. So can I click and drag? Now I have to click here, and then that's kind of handy. It tells you how wide the windows are that you're viewing. As you can see, as I go up here and down, it's actually showing me the elements of this window. You can see it's made out of quite a few different columns. So yeah, if you do want to see how big this row is, it's 85 pixels if you're interested. So handy if you're doing graphic design and web design and need to know what the widths are that you need. To be honest, that's kind of useful. I might leave that tool on because I've got an idea for it when I'm doing my own graphic designing and I'm doing it the old-fashioned way of actually using the tools built in, and I can be using this instead. So that is kind of handy. I'm going to leave that one turned on. Next, you've got Workspaces. Now, I did use this one for a while. Workspaces is kind of like there's multiple desktops on your computer, so you have got that kind of built into Windows, but the difference with Workspaces are it actually, when you select a workspace, it loads up all the apps that you've got enabled, so you can set apps that automatically open. So if you've got a workspace, I don't think I've got any set up at the moment, but let's just do Windows Control, comma, that looks like. There we go. So I have actually got two here that I've set up. So I've got a coding one and I've got a Kimberly IT one. And if I hit launch, it will automatically load that desktop. That's what a workspace is. You can set up a workspace and you can add and remove applications. You then hit save workspace, and whenever you load that workspace, those applications will load up, and they'll also load up in the fancy zones that you've got set up. So it's handy if you are switching between different types of work that you do throughout the day. So maybe you want an entertainment workspace, maybe you want to have a coding workspace and a work workspace. You can do all that kind of stuff with workspaces, as I've got already set up. So its usability, its functionality could be handy for some people, might not be handy for others. So give it a try. If you do like that feature, again, let me know in the comments, because it's just interesting to know what people are using. And then the final one is one called ZoomIt, which is what it says. ZoomIt is a screen zoom, annotation and recording tool for technical presentations and demos. You can use ZoomIt to snip screenshots to the clipboard or to the file. So it's essentially just a keyboard command that allows you to zoom in and zoom out. And maybe when you're doing a screen share on Google or Meet or something like that, you might want to use that snipping tool, that ZoomIt tool. But that's Windows Powertoys. As you can see, it's a productivity suite that's really handy. And it's got some really useful features in there. It's definitely worth having a play and seeing what works for you. I've forgotten to show you one. I've forgotten to show you, haven't I? Mouse without borders, the most amazing one. I've completely forgotten. So let's go and do that. So mouse without borders. This is the most magical one of all time. Let me just grab my laptop because it allows me to control my laptop and my desktop with just one mouse. The mouse is connected to my computer. So first off, you've got to set this up. This can be a bit more of a tricky one to set up because you've got to make sure you've got PowerToys installed on both your desktop and your whatever other computer you're using, in this case my laptop. Once you've done that, you then have to go in here and you have to do a thing called an encryption key. So you've got to set up the security key. So you click on new key and you've got to enter this key into both machines. Once it's on both machines, you can then control them by a single mouse and a single keyboard. You've also got the device layout, so you've got to drag where your computers are. So my laptop is on the left of my desktop, so it means when I move the mouse to my left of my desktop, it will appear on my laptop screen. And I'm going to show you that now because I'm going to just do it on my phone so you can see my desktop and you can see the mouse going in between both. Okay, so now let me show you mouse without borders. I've got my mobile set up and we'll be flicking to that in a few seconds to show you the two screens. As you can see, I've got a green box on here around the device I'm going to connect to. If you haven't got a green box, hit refresh connections. If it doesn't go green for any reason, just make sure you've got your security keys set up properly. Now I'm going to move my mouse cursor over. So if you look on my mobile, you'll now see my mouse cursor. Just done a little shake and you can see that's the thing I was describing earlier under mouse utilities. To quickly find your mouse, you just shake your mouse and it gets highlighted on your screen. So if I carry on moving it to the left, you should see it appear on my laptop. There it is. If I shake my mouse again, there you go. You can see the mouse cursor is now on there, being controlled by my desktop mouse. I can click anywhere in this notepad file that I've got open here and I can just start typing using my keyboard and that's on there. Likewise, I can actually do it in reverse. So if I use the mouse pad here, I can move the mouse back up onto my desktop and there it is. And if I start shaking it, it will highlight and there you go, as I'm using it that way around. And again, I can use the keyboard on my laptop to type onto my desktop. So that is mouse without borders. Absolutely fantastic productivity tool. If you've got two computers that you use and you've got a laptop and you've got your desktop that you use for work and you're out and about using both devices, you can now use your single keyboard and mouse between both computers using this feature in PowerToys. No need to have a hardware box with a switch that you've got to switch over. You can use your single mouse and keyboard between the two using mouse without borders, and that's why it's one of my favorite tools, because I can just plonk my laptop on my desk and then just use my desktop keyboard and mouse to control that while I've got my laptop here and flick between my two devices with ease, with no switching or anything like that needing to be done. So I highly recommend turning this one on. It's a huge productivity gain.